What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and these are the top 10 sneaker news stories that you need to know about. It's 420, or almost. I'm not exactly sure when this video is dropping, but around the time that this video drops, Adidas is also dropping their 420 themed pair of Campus 80s. Now these shoes are officially called the Adidas Campus 80 Crops and feature a removable brown upper that's apparently supposed to resemble rolling papers. And I don't know if this matters or even if this was intentional, I'm assuming it was, but it seems like Adidas really loves using the Campus 80 or just the Campus silhouette as their base for collaborations or even just theming. So this Campus 80 comes in a brown paper-like material upper that obviously you can tear away and reveal this really interesting looking green suede. Now I'll be honest, I have no idea what they're referencing with the green suede. What even is that? That's stupid. It's funny because even though Adidas is not as hyped up as it used to be, their 420 sneakers always seem to be on point. And if they put all the energy that they put into their 420 sneakers into a lot of their other shoes, they probably have a lot more hits on their hands, which, you know, maybe they're using the thing that they're trying to make the shoe look like in order to come up with the idea. Either way, the shoe comes with tie-dye hits on the interior of the sneaker and also on the insole of the shoe, giving the shoe a much needed pop of color that you don't really get from the exterior of the shoe, at least until you rip off the paper. And all in all, I've got to say it's a really cool concept. It's not anything crazy new. We've seen tearaway uppers, especially recently, a lot. So because of that, it's not like a mind-blowing concept, but I definitely think there's a lot of people out there who will love checking out this shoe and wearing this shoe on 420 in particular. Oh, and I realized I didn't actually say when this shoe is officially releasing, but obviously it's releasing on 420 for a retail price of 110 bucks. Moving on to number 9 and actually continuing on with Adidas Campus sneakers, it looks like the next Bad Bunny collaboration shoe has finally been revealed, and that's a light blue pair of Adidas Campus. Now I know a lot of people really love the Bad Bunny forums, and that's sort of the main shoe that everyone wants, and the other Bad Bunny collabs haven't really done as well, but it seems like the previous Campus set released that was part of the Bad Bunny collaboration collection did pretty well, and honestly was one of my favorite of the Bad Bunny drops. I think it was very clean, very wearable, and it wasn't too crazy or too out there, which, don't get me wrong, I love shoes that are really crazy and really out there, but this is the kind of shoe that you can rock on a daily basis, rep Bad Bunny, rep Adidas, and still look somewhat professional if that's what you're going for. This new Bad Bunny blue tint collaboration colorway features a very light blue suede upper accented by sort of a very light orange Adidas 3 stripes logo on the midfoot and some deeper blues towards the heel of the shoe. Now the other detail that I really like are the semi-translucent overlays that kind of wrap up onto the midfoot of the shoe and also the very simple and clean midsole. I definitely think this is the right direction for Adidas to take when it comes to their Bad Bunny collaboration. Obviously, by losing Beyonce and losing Kanye West, they've lost a huge amount of their business. Well, maybe not so much with Beyonce, but definitely with Kanye West. So they need another collaborator to sort of step up and create a product that everyone wants. And I feel like this Campus Bad Bunny collection could be really strong and really popular. So kudos to Adidas for moving forward with a collaboration that I think a lot of people will like. And hopefully in the future we get some more forums because I don't have any Bad Bunny forums and I'd love to own a pair for myself. So we'll see. As of right now, there is no official release date, but people are expecting the shoe to release before the end of the summer. Next up at number 8 is another collaboration, or maybe a collaboration. I don't think anyone's really sure if it is or it isn't, and that's the Nigel Sylvester Nike Airship. So before we dive into the weirdness of this shoe, let's first talk about how the sneaker looks. So there are two versions of this shoe, the overtly Nigel Sylvester version of the shoe, which comes in a white leather upper, an aged midsole, and these blue suede hits, as well as the word Bike Air embroidered onto the heel. And then there's the release that is going to hit the public, but no one really knows whether it's a collab or not. And it's essentially the same sort of sneaker, except instead of white leather, you have cracked white leather on the upper, and instead of the words Bike Air embroidered into the heel, you have every air embroidered in cursive. So right off the bat, it's already confirmed that the Bike Air version of the shoe is a friends and family release that is only given to friends and family, and because of that, the pairs that have hit the market are going for thousands and thousands of dollars. However, the other pair, which apparently is releasing on May 10th, may or may not actually be a collaboration with Nigel Sylvester, and no one really seems to know for sure. Now, at first glance, it would make sense that this shoe is a Nigel Sylvester collaboration because it looks just like the friends and family pair, which is definitely his pair, but at the same time, because it doesn't feature any Nigel Sylvester hits, it could be that this shoe is just a standalone release that looks almost exactly the same. And if I was Nigel Sylvester and that was the case, I wouldn't be happy. It would have kind of felt like a slap in the face because I create something awesome and then Nike basically copies it. But I think what probably happened, or I think what probably is going to happen, is that this shoe will be loosely tied to Nigel Sylvester in some way other than just the design, and because of that, it's going to be a, I guess, Nigel Sylvester collaboration. But until the shoe actually releases, or at least until Nike gives us the information or the inspiration behind the sneaker, we won't know for sure. But either way, it's an incredibly clean pair of Nike Airships. I would love to have a pair personally, and I'm gonna try and grab a pair on May 10th. I'm actually a pretty big fan of the Nike Airships. I've had the green pair, the orange pair. I tried to grab the yellow pair, but unfortunately that pair was sold out when I went to Lapson and Hammer. This is a shoe that I would love to have in my collection, and as an Air Jordan 1 fan, having the predecessor to the Air Jordan 1 is pretty cool. And also, if you find yourself liking some of the Nike airships that have already released, I've made sure to leave links to those shoes through the YouTube shopping tab by clicking the link on your screen. Coming in at number 7, we've got some more images of the upcoming Tiana Taylor Air Jordan 1 collaboration. So this shoe is actress, singer, and dancer Tiana Taylor's first collaboration with Jordan Brand, and lucky her, she gets to collaborate on a pair of Air Jordan 1s, which is pretty difficult to do. I mean, I guess it's not that surprising because she's Tiana Taylor and she's already collaborated with Adidas and Reebok, but it is kind of crazy that your first collab is on a pair of Air Jordan 1s. Now, this is not a standard pair of 1s, it is a comfort version of the shoe, or a comfort zoom, I think is the official name of the shoe, but either way, it comes in essentially a Chicago colorway, which is pretty wild. So the rumored name for this collaboration is A Rose from Harlem, because obviously that's where Tiana Taylor's from, and the shoe features rose-like details. Like, you've got green thorns on the Nike swoosh on the lateral side of the shoe, and then on the medial side of the shoe, you've got a stitched-on Nike swoosh, which actually reminds me a lot of some off-white sneakers. And I think overall, although I'm not the biggest fan of the comfort zooms or whatever they're called, I think she did a good job in this collaboration. Is it something I'm gonna buy personally? Probably not, but I think there are a lot of people out there who are gonna be into it. I do have to say that there is one design detail on the shoe that I absolutely love, and that's the fact that the Nike swoosh on one of the sides of the sneaker actually extends onto the midsole of the shoe. I think that looks awesome, and I wish more Nike sneakers would do that, but yeah, I think it's an interesting looking collaboration. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below. As of right now, there is no release date for this shoe, but the expected retail price is $150. Next up at number 6, we get a look at what could have been with some upcoming Adidas Yeezy Slides that ended up being canceled. So even before everything went down with Kanye West and Adidas, people already knew that there was going to be MX Yeezy Slides. There had been leaked images of the shoes, there had been renderings of the shoes, but we didn't know all of the colorways that were going to drop. And recently we got some more leaked images of 2 more colorways of the MX Yeezy Slides that we didn't even know about. So those 2 colorways are the gray and black colorway and the brown and gray colorway. Both colorways that we've seen versions of before on different Yeezy sneakers, but never on a pair of Yeezy Slides. And man, as a fan of the Yeezy Slides, the shoe that I probably wear the most out of every shoe in my collection, because I wear them inside the house, outside the house. I have 2 pairs, one for inside, one for outside. It is a bummer to see what could have been, because I love the shoe. It's incredibly comfortable on foot, and it seems like Adidas is not going to be releasing any more of these. And as of right now, no one even really knows what's going to happen to the pairs of Yeezy Slides that were already made that were never sold, like the blue pair, the Azul pair, I think is what it was called. It was fire. Obviously these pairs as well. So who knows what's going to happen? I would love to have these pairs in hand, but unfortunately it looks like these pairs will probably never release to the public, and that sucks because these shoes look awesome. Next up at number 5, we've got a little piece of news, or I guess an addition to a piece of news that you may already know, and that's that the Air Jordan 4 Bred Reimagineds that are slated to release next year will not come in the material that we all expected. So as you all know, Jordan Brand has been releasing reimagined versions of some of their most popular sneakers, like the Air Jordan 1 Lost and Founds, the Air Jordan 1 85s, and the Air Jordan 3 Reimagineds. And it seems like they're continuing that trend with the Air Jordan 4 Reimagineds. Now, unfortunately, unlike the other pairs of shoes that they released over the last year and a half, 2 years, this shoe isn't just getting a slight color change, it's getting an entire material change. So the original Air Jordan 4 Bred, or Air Jordan 4 Black and Red as Jerry Lorenzo wants us to call it, originally only came in nubuck. It was never a shoe that came in leather, but it seems like for whatever reason, Jordan Brand is making this reimagined version of the shoe a leather Bred Air Jordan 4, which, let's be honest, it's probably still gonna look great, and a lot of people actually prefer leather to nubuck, but it's an OG colorway, an OG sneaker, one of the most popular Air Jordans of all time, especially when the Air Jordan 4s are as popular as they are right now, and to change the main material on the shoe almost feels like blasphemy, like it doesn't feel right. And I know it's stupid, and I know it's also still a rumor. It's possible that this might not happen, but the fact that so many people are reporting this means that there is a good chance that this shoe could be a leather Air Jordan 4 Bred, which I think for a lot of new heads, not a bad thing, but for people who really like the original versions of the shoe, might be bummed out about. I mean, sure, with the Air Jordan 1 Lost and Found, they changed the material on the upper of the shoe from a standard leather to a cracked leather, but there was a reason behind that, there was a story behind that. With this shoe, I'm sure there will be a reason for it or a story behind it, but I don't know what that could be, and it's such a drastic change, it just doesn't make sense to me. And maybe they'll release a standard version of the Air Jordan 4 Breds a year or two later, so they're saving that special material for that release. But if this is as big of a deal as everyone seems to be making it in terms of release wise, and the fact that we already know about this shoe means that it probably is going to be a pretty large release, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if this might be the only Bred 4 that we get for the next 5 years. But hey, this release is just about a year out, so we've still got literally 12 months of probably production time before this sneaker ever releases. And it's possible that things could change, and it's possible that this is all BS and this isn't even true. Who knows? But until we get closer to the release of this shoe, no one really knows for sure except for the people at Jordan Brand, and unfortunately we're just kind of left in the dark until Jordan Brand officially announces something or leaked images come out. But don't expect that to be soon because this shoe literally does not come out until March of 2024. Then coming in at number 4, one of the most prominent designers of the last couple decades has officially teamed up with Nike to create a collaboration of his own. And as you probably already know, that prominent designer is Nigo, the founder of Bape. Now, you might already know this, but Nigo hasn't been with Bape for the last 10 years, and I think a lot of people might get that confused, especially because Bape is being sued by Nike at the moment. And sure, Nigo did have some part in creating the products that Nike is suing Bape for, but he's no longer with Bape. He hasn't been with Bape for a while, and now he's getting his own Nike sneaker. And as of right now, there's not really any information as to what the sneaker is going to be, whether it's going to be a new silhouette or he's just going to be collaborating on an older silhouette. No one really has any idea, and it doesn't even look like this collaboration is going to drop until probably late 2024. But either way, it's exciting that a person as big as Nigo is collaborating with a brand as big as Nike. This is absolutely going to be a collaboration that's going to take the world by force, and I'm excited. I'm really stoked on this collab, especially if you've been into Bape and Human Made and anything that Nigo has ever done over the last 2 decades. Coming in at number 3, and speaking of things that were popular in the 2010s, one of the most popular sneakers of that era is finally returning in 2024. And that shoe, as you may already know, is the Galaxy Foamposite, one of the most popular all-star releases of all time and one of my personal grails. So this shoe first released back in 2012 during the All-Star game, and like I said, is one of the most iconic all-star sneakers of all time. Like, this is the shoe that you think of when you think of all-star releases. And as a customizer in 2012, I was doing like a million different Galaxy customs. It was crazy how many people wanted that custom because of this shoe. The fact that this shoe is finally coming back, it makes me so happy. I'm so excited for this release. I will absolutely be buying a pair for myself, even though I don't really love foams as a silhouette. This is one of those iconic foam pods. Maybe not as popular as it once was, but it's still gonna be a shoe that I think a lot of people are gonna have on their sneaker bucket list. So the 2012 Galaxy Foamposites feature a galaxy print on the upper of the shoe and a glow-in-the-dark outsole, which I think was the main detail that everyone loved. Glow-in-the-dark soles were huge in 2012, especially with the releases of the Nike Air Yeezys. And as of right now, no one really knows whether this shoe is gonna be a carbon copy of the original or whether it's gonna be a new take on the Galaxy Foamposites. I really hope it's the same as the original, but you never know with Nike, they could always try something different. Till we actually see images of this shoe, we won't know for sure. But again, because this shoe won't release until probably All-Star Weekend 2024 or sometime around there, it's unlikely we'll see images of this shoe until the end of this year. But unfortunately, until then, all we can do is hold out hope. And hopefully someone from Nike is watching this who has some sway at the company and can tell people, hey, let's make it just like the OG, because that's what everyone wants. But who knows if that'll happen. Then following that up at number 2, it looks like we're getting another Trophy Room Jordan Brand collaboration, this time on a pair of Air Jordan 1 lows. As we all know, Trophy Room hasn't had the most spotless reputation when it comes to Air Jordan 1 Trophy Room collaboration releases. I won't get into it, but I'm sure you already know the story. So I think a lot of people are cautiously optimistic about this release. It is very possible that the shoe will look good because Trophy Room has a pretty good history of decent collaborations. The release procedures, I think, is something that people are mostly concerned about. Now, in terms of what the sneaker will actually end up looking like, no one really knows for sure, but some sources have told Sneaker News that apparently the shoe is going to come in black, sail, and metallic gold. So let your mind wander. It could be anything, no one really knows for sure. It's very possible that this shoe will look a lot like other black and gold Air Jordan 1s that we've seen before, but it's also very possible that it won't. And until we see leaked images or renderings of this shoe based on a reliable source, no one knows for sure. And unfortunately, that's really all we got. Hopefully, Trophy Room works on their release procedures, and this time around it isn't as insane as it was the first time. However, because this shoe isn't a Chicago Air Jordan 1 high like the original, I don't think this shoe will be as insane of a release as the original was, but you never know. And then rounding off today's video, in the number 1 spot, we finally have a look at the upcoming Union LA Air Jordan 1s. However, I think for a lot of people, we would have preferred not seeing this. So the Air Jordan 1 Union LA collaboration is one of the most popular Air Jordan 1 collaborations of all time. It came in 2 different colorways. You've got the Storm Blue colorway and then also the Black Toe colorway. Both shoes are absolutely fire, and personally, some of my favorite collaborations that have ever released. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, in my opinion, Union LA has not been able to drop collaborations that are up to the same amazing standard that these shoes set. And at the beginning of the year, when we first heard that Union LA would be collaborating with Jordan Brand once again on a pair of Air Jordan 1 highs, everyone was excited because they're like, yes, finally we're getting new colorways of a shoe that everyone loved. And if Union LA had just stuck to that and just created new colorways of the insanely popular collaboration that they had already created, I think that would have been best case scenario. But unfortunately, that's not the case. And as you can see from the images on your screen, this is instead what they decided to go with, which yes, does take a lot of the original Air Jordan 1 Union LA collaboration. However, it changes things in a way that just does not make sense to me. As you can see, they took this beautiful art piece that they had created and tried to go incredibly experimental by adding footscape woven elements to it. Which, sure, the footscape woven is fine. It's a great shoe, whatever. It doesn't matter. But it doesn't belong on a pair of Air Jordan 1s. They had one job to do. One job! And it's possible that when we see actual images of this shoe or this shoe on foot, people's minds might change. It might look way better than this shoe actually looks, but this is a pretty clear image, and it's got a woven thing on the side, and I don't see that changing much in different lighting. I mean, sure, it doesn't completely destroy the look of the sneaker. I think it's still gonna be a popular shoe, and I think people will still be into it, but you'd think with the declining popularity of the Air Jordan 1s, Jordan Brand would be like, hey guys, could you just kind of keep it standard? Bring back some hype to the Jordan 1s, we're trying to sell some of those. But instead they decided to do something just completely different, and sure, the shoe will probably sell out anyway, so I guess it's not that big of a deal for them because they're still making their money, and they're still trying something new and different, and I guess artistically it's cool and experimental in a weird way. But as a sneakerhead and someone who actually has to go outside in these sneakers, I'm not a fan of it. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, yeah, I'm probably gonna buy a pair of these, and yeah, I'm probably gonna wear them. I actually think the shoe overall looks fine, but it's just like they had such an easy win. Just go with the easy win. In my opinion, a brand that's doing it right now is Ma Maniere. All of their sneakers look like they come from the same family, the same collaboration, the same brand, and it just makes sense. And while yes, some of their sneakers are more popular than others, at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. That's not what they're trying to accomplish. They're trying to sell sneakers, obviously, but also create something that tells a story and is unique and different. And while yes, that's definitely what Union LA is doing with this shoe, I just think they took it too far. Personally, I get that there's a story and I get that there's a reason behind it, and it's not all made for me, and I completely understand that. And I think that's the case with this. It's not made for me. I'm not a huge fan of the footscape woven, and that's fine. I don't know, it was an odd choice, and I think this shoe is not gonna appeal to as many people as it could have. And again, I don't think that was their direct purpose with this collaboration, but man, it just seems like a letdown. I just selfishly wish it was a little bit different. And that's fine. I mean, everyone has their own opinions. Your opinion may differ. Your opinion is just as valid as my opinion. That's totally fine. But hey, that pretty much wraps up the video for today. Let me know your thoughts on all of the sneakers that we talked about in today's video in the comment section down below. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.